It's been a little over 1 week since Bishop Marianne announced the suspension of all in-person gatherings across the diocese. Just about a week. But it feels so much longer, doesn't it? It feels like it's been months that we've been at home, months that we haven't been able to gather together. As I said in my sermon last Sunday, it feels like we've entered a wilderness, much like the one the Israelites entered in the Exodus. We are in uncharted territory, a time of anxiety, uncertainty, and danger. So as we enter this period of wilderness, each week, starting this week, I'm going to offer a short reflection and a meditation on our journey through the wilderness, where we're at, where we might be going, and what we can do during this time of anxiety, uncertainty, and danger. This is week 1. There will be many more weeks and months to come. Now, the first thing about surviving in a wilderness is that we have to admit that we are indeed in a wilderness. We can't solve a problem if we refuse to accept that we have a problem. The Israelites, finding themselves in a mountainous desert, had to realize that water and food were scarce. They needed to accept that reality. Likewise, we must accept the threat of the COVID-19 virus. And we know that we do have steps we can take to combat it. This is a problem, and we do have ways to address it. The most powerful tool that most of us have is social distancing. Maybe you've heard this term recently, social distancing, limiting all non-essential in-person contact with other people, because it's through in-person contact with others that the virus most easily spreads, through coughing, through simply breathing or talking, or indeed by shaking hands, or if you touch a doorknob that someone else has touched. So limiting that kind of contact, social distancing, is essential at this time. I want to be clear that all the health experts, the doctors, the CDC agree that social distancing will save lives. Now, of course, it's sad and tragic that at a time of anxiety, uncertainty, and danger, at the very kind of time where we want the support of community the most, we're being asked to isolate ourselves. And here, I think, is where we can take more lessons from the Israelites in the wilderness. First off, the Israelites depended on their faith in God. Now, there are many exceptions to this. There were many Israelites who did not really keep their faith in God. If you read through the book of Exodus, you find example after example of Israelites who actually didn't really maintain their faith in God. But enough of them did. Enough Israelites did hold on to their faith in God. And this proved to be essential in the survival and the success of their community. Second, and just as important, Israelites continued to value their community. They continued to support each other and care for one another. Now again, there were exceptions to this, for sure, as anyone who simply reads through the book of Exodus will see. But those people who did survive did so because they supported each other, because they stayed together. If people had broken off as separate individuals, lone individuals in the wilderness would have swallowed them whole. They only survived and succeeded because they remained together as a community. So likewise, in our wilderness, we must keep faith in God, and we must continue to support each other and remain a strong community. Now, we can't worship together in our church building, not for now. But this doesn't mean that we can't pray and worship weekly and even daily. Likewise, although we can't gather in person together for fellowship, we can be in touch with each other, and we can offer help to members of our community who need it. So in this first week in the wilderness, I'm asking the community of St. Augustine's to commit to 2 things. First, continue the rhythm of prayer and worship. We at St. Augustine's are continuing to hold all worship and prayer services that we had before the virus struck. So, Sunday morning worship, evening prayer on Tuesdays, our new gathering of contemplative prayer on Thursday evenings. All of those continue, and you can join in by phone or online. And I invite you to any and all of these gatherings, and I also invite you, of course, to continue, expand, or start a practice of prayer in your own home, either alone or with your family or those you're living with. Prayer and worship grounds us in the truth that God creates us, sustains us, and loves us. And this is a lesson and a truth that we need perhaps more now than ever before. So that's the first commitment I'm asking the community of St. Augustine's to make. The second commitment I'm asking is to commit to fellowship and solidarity with other people in the community. If you are younger and healthy, then I ask that you reach out to people and see if they have needs. Do people need you to go get groceries for them? Do people need you to go pick up their medication? Is there something at home or maybe in their yard that people might need help with? Are there people in your apartment building who need some kind of direct assistance? If you can help people, reach out and help people, both members of the St. Augustine's community and also just your neighbors around, whoever they may be. And if you are older or you have underlying health problems, you are still called to serve. You are still called to offer fellowship by calling or emailing your friends and your neighbors. Stay in touch with people as often as you can. Reach out to people. This is an essential ministry of simply being in touch with people, of simply paying attention to your friends, your neighbors, and your fellow members of St. Augustine's. We know that loneliness will become one of the biggest threats of this virus in the coming weeks and months, as so many of us will be cut off from our normal ways of being in community. So offering fellowship, offering a phone call or an email, offering to check in with someone, offering a listening ear to those who have anxiety in their hearts. This is crucial, and I'm asking everyone at St. Augustine's to step up and to stay in touch with each other, offer fellowship at this time. And to help facilitate this, to help make sure that we stay in touch with each other and support each other, today I'm announcing a new weekly call-in session. Beginning tonight, March 20th, a Friday, we're going to hold a social hour from 6:30 to 7:30 every Friday evening. There won't be any liturgy, there won't be any readings, there won't be any class or any lesson. It'll just be a time for us to call, to chat, to check in, to listen to each other, to support each other, and to maintain our community at this really difficult time. So I invite you to call in tonight at 6:30 or to join online with the video conference, and you can find the call-in information and the website to join in the video call on our website or in the email that's coming out today as well. And if you don't know where it's at, just go to our website, staugustinesdc.org, and you can find all that information. We are in a wilderness, and we will be journeying through this wilderness for many weeks and months to come. It will not be easy. But if we keep faith in God and we remain faithful to each other, we will cross the Jordan together. And although we cannot gather in person, we are still a community. We are still St. Augustine's. And I pray that we only draw closer to each other at this difficult and anxious time. May the Lord bless you and keep you. May the Lord make his face to shine upon you and be gracious to you. May the Lord lift up his countenance upon you and give you peace. And may the blessing of God, our Creator, our Redeemer, and our Sustainer be upon you this day and always.